Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be going over my mock draft for the 2021 NFL Draft 1.0. This is going to be my first mock draft for the 2021 NFL Draft on the channel. So let's dive right into it. Before we get started though, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, let's dive right into it and I hope you enjoy. Let's dive right in here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't want to spend too much time here, but for me, it's got to be Trevor Lawrence, right? They need a quarterback. Obviously, the quarterbacks there have just not been good, right? Gardner Minshew, Mike Glennon, Jake Luton, like none of those guys are franchise guys. You get your franchise quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who's one of the best, probably the best quarterback prospect to come out of the NFL draft since Andrew Luck. That's probably where it would be. But, I mean, the guy's fantastic. I mean, if you watched his pro day the other day, he was flinging that ball downfield, and he just looked really good throwing the football. But, I mean, he did everything at Clemson. He's got the arm talent. He's got the arm strength. He's got the mobility. He's just an athlete, and he is the home run first pick in this year's draft. Now, though, let's go to the New York Jets here. Come on, let me just draft him there. Beautiful. Let's not draft Penei Sewell for the Jets for a second. Okay. Sorry, having a little technical difficulties there. Okay, so New York Jets at number 2. Biggest need is definitely a quarterback. I don't like Sam Darnold whatsoever for the New York Jets there. I don't think he has a future with the Jets. Maybe he does hang around there for another year. But nonetheless, I mean, the Jets have a lot of needs. Definitely outside the football at quarterback or wide receiver. They did a good job filling that left tackle position with Mekhi Becton last year. So I don't think a tackle here is the move. I don't think Penei Sewell would be here. So it's really, in my opinion, it's between the quarterbacks, Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. Now, although if you did watch my NFL draft quarterback video, you'll see that I had Justin Fields as my number 2 quarterback in the draft. I think that the Jets would end up taking Zach Wilson, who I had as my number 3 quarterback in the draft. And the reason for that is because I think Zach Wilson has a little bit better arm talent. And I think the Jets are going to rather have that a mobile quarterback with great arm talent than a very mobile quarterback with probably above average arm talent. But nonetheless, I think Zach Wilson would still be a good pick for the New York Jets. But I just think Wilson in New York would make sense. You know, get your franchise quarterback and then build around him with your second first round pick and through the draft. I don't think Darnold is the long-term answer in New York. Now, though, let's go to the Miami Dolphins. It's taking a little bit of time to load here. So Miami Dolphins here at number 3, obviously traded with the Houston Texans to acquire this pick. And the real big thing for the Miami Dolphins is, you know, they need to build around Tua. They've said Tua is their guy, so they don't need to go out and get a quarterback here, right? And it's really the big needs are on the offensive side of the football. This defense was really good last year. They probably do need another edge rusher and linebacker, but nonetheless, I mean, the wide receiver position is a gaping hole, and for me, it's a no-brainer to go out and get Devonta Smith. Not only did he win the Heisman Trophy, and he was absolutely fantastic last season for the Alabama Crimson Tide, but he's already got chemistry with Tua Tagovailoa. He already knows how Tua Tagovailoa likes to play. They played together at Alabama, and I think the Dolphins would be come on, Devonta Smith is a home run prospect. The only downside with him is he's a little bit undersized, right? He's around 185 pounds, 6'1". He's very skinny, but it hasn't been a problem for him at the college level. That's the only concern for Devonta Smith. But he's a game breaker. He's got the speed, route running skills, yards after catch ability. He would be a home run pick for the Miami Dolphins at pick number 3. Now, though, let's move on to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so there's a few ways that we can go about this. Obviously, the Falcons could go quarterback, right? They could, get the success for Matt Ryan. They could trade back, which I think might be an actual thing that they might do. But if they sit at this pick here, I think that they need to go look at the defensive side of the football. And for me, it's either corner or it's linebacker for them. Obviously, Micah Parsons would be a very interesting pick, but there are some concerns with him. And his, off the field stuff, there are a little bit of concerns of that. So I think he does fall a little bit. So that really means that they need to go after a corner. The Falcons were, I think, number 31, number 32 last year in pass defense. So you need to improve the secondary. And it's either Surtain or Caleb Farley. I've seen either both go higher than the other. I mean, I think that they're neck and neck. I personally prefer Surtain. He reminds me a little bit of a Jalen Ramsey-like prospect without the top-end speed. I mean, Surtain has the ability to stay with good wide receivers and fast wide receivers, but he doesn't have that elite top-end speed. But what I love about his game is he's so physical. That's why I said he kind of reminds me of Jalen Ramsey in that way, because he's so physical on the ball, and he's just a lockdown corner. Farley's also good. You couldn't go wrong with either prospect, but I just like Surtain a little bit more, and especially for this Falcons team that really needs defensive help, I think Surtain would be a really good pick. Now, though, let's go to the Cincinnati Bengals. So last season, the Cincinnati Bengals obviously drafted their franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. Now they needed some offensive alignment up front to help him, and Penei Sewell is the guy to do that. Also, although, I don't know if Penei Sewell is the most polished offensive lineman in this draft right now, he's got the biggest potential, and for me, he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. I have seen Rashawn Slater go higher than him. That's something that we will definitely talk about when we get to him in a second. But nonetheless, Sewell is so good at run blocking. He's so big. Pass protection is something that he could definitely improve in. But once again, he's got all the physical traits, and he's a mauler. He's a big guy. And he's almost like, I said this to my friend the other day, but like a Quentin Nelson playing tackle. He could definitely play guard. Like, this man, he's so athletic, so versatile. I think he'd be just great for this Bengals offensive line that desperately needs offensive line help. That's their number one concern this offseason. I think Sewell is the guy to fix that. And I don't know if he even slips all the way to 5. Now, though, let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles at number 6, and there's a few ways you can go about this. Obviously, here you see wide receiver, tight end, and corner are the big needs. I don't think tight end is really a big need. I think they'll move on from Zach Ertz, but Dallas Goedert is still really good. Quarterback for me is not an option. If you trade away Carson Wentz, you got Jalen Hurts. I like what Jalen Hurts did. I think you give him a year. But nonetheless, I think it's either a wide receiver or it's a corner. And although I think that you definitely need a wide receiver, I think defense is something that's huge for this Philadelphia Eagles team, and therefore getting a guy like Caleb Farley would just be a massive addition for this team. I think pairing him next to Darius Slay, getting 2 really great corners would really help out that defense that definitely struggled in the secondary last year. So I think Farley would be a good option here at number 6. Now, though, let's go to the Detroit Lions at number 7. And, they brought in Jared Goff this offseason. I don't think that they'll go quarterback. But what I do think that they will do is go get a wide receiver to, pair next to whoever they have there. The reason for it, I said whoever they have there, because Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones Jr. are free agents. Danny Amendola, I don't know if he's a free agent. He might be, he might not be. Don't quote me on that. So you need a wide receiver, and Jamar Chase is arguably the best wide receiver in this draft class. Very good pass catcher, really productive at LSU under Joe Burrow, and he's just a great route runner too, really good hands. I think he could be the best wide receiver out of this draft class at the end of the day. I really like what his game adds to the table. Him and Devonta Smith, I think, are definitely close, but I think Jamar Chase going to the Detroit Lions makes a lot of sense, especially with their need for a wide receiver. Now, though, let's go to the Carolina Panthers at pick number 8. And for the Carolina Panthers, obviously Teddy Bridgewater did not work out. So that's why I'm going to give them Justin Fields. Go get your quarterback for the future. I think Justin Fields has the potential to be the second best quarterback in this draft class. As I said, I think he's the number 2 quarterback in this draft class. If you watched my quarterback ranking videos where I ranked the quarterbacks in this draft class, you can go check that out. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below, or either up there. But nonetheless, Justin Fields, home run pick. He's mobile. He's able to get outside the pocket. Imagine an offense with McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel's a free agent, and Justin Fields too. That's just a great offense. I think that'd be really exciting to watch. I think Fields is, he's got elite potential. He reminds me of something in between a Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts kind of player. So he could bring a lot to this Carolina Panthers offense, which was solid last year, not great. But with a good quarterback, they could definitely be a playoff team, especially if they improve the defense this offseason. I think if they got Justin Fields, they would definitely take a big leap forward. Now, though, let's go to the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos are a very interesting team. This is a team that kind of, they're in the middle of no man's land. I don't know if they give Drew Lock another year. They probably do give Drew Lock another year. They don't really need any help on the offensive line. That's something that they've really invested in. They don't really need wide receiver or tight end help. So I'm not going to really look at that. But when it comes to the defense side of the football, it's definitely a big need for them. And although Kwity Paye is the number 1 edge rusher according to this, I don't think he actually is the number 1 edge rusher, because I'll get to that in a second. But I think Micah Parsons is the pick here. You get an impact linebacker, and he's a guy that's in the heart of your defense for the next 7 to 10 years. I think that's just a no-brainer. I think Micah Parsons probably is a top 5 talent in this draft class, so him slipping to 9 and obviously being a position of need for the Denver Broncos just makes a lot of sense for me. Now, though, let's go to the Dallas Cowboys at pick 10. And the number one thing for me is definitely offensive line help for the Dallas Cowboys. Their offensive line 2 years ago was one of the best in the NFL, but Travis Frederick retired, and then you had injuries all of last season, and guys couldn't stay healthy. So why not get Rashawn Slater? And the reason for that is you don't have to play him at offensive tackle, right? If you think Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith are still able to play the tackle positions, you put Rashawn Slater in interior offensive lineman. This guy he's able to play any single position on that offensive line. He can play interior offensive line, he can play outside tackle, and with that said, I mean, I think Rashawn Slater is just a home run pick for this Cowboys team. You need some help on that offensive line, especially if you want to keep Dak healthy. And although the defense is a massive concern, right? I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, the only player defensively that you take here is either a corner in Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley. Maybe you go after Micah Parsons. I don't really think you need a linebacker though. Obviously, with Jalen Smith being one of the better linebackers in the NFL. But I think offensive line and secondary help is something that the Cowboys really need. In this situation, Rashawn Slater falls to them. He's arguably the most polished offensive lineman in this draft class, the guy that's the most ready to play right now. So I think he's a great pick for this Cowboys team at pick number 10. The next team I have here is the New York Giants. And when we're looking at the board here, I mean, I see Trey Lance. That's definitely a little bit interesting. I see Samuel Cosmi. I see Christian Darrisaw for offensive line help. I don't really know where I want to go with the New York Giants, but I think Jalen Waddle's the pick here for me. Jalen Waddle, I mean, he would bring such an asset and such a dynamic to this Giants offense. This Giants offense needs another receiver. Sure, they've got Sterling Shepard. Sure, they've got Golden Tate. Sure, they've got Darius Slayton. But none of those guys are real game breakers. Jalen Waddle is that. I don't love Jalen Waddle because I don't love taking speedy receivers in the first round. But he's a game breaker. He's able to really open up an offense. And I think that would be huge for Daniel Jones and that Giants offense. The next pick I'm going to have here is something that might be a little bit surprising, okay? So the San Francisco 49ers obviously have the NFL's second best tight end, or maybe first tight end in George Kittle, but I think if they go out and get Kyle Pitts, oh my God, imagine that offense. So my thinking with the 49ers is that Kyle Shanahan is a guy that doesn't like to have a traditional offense. He likes the 2 running back sets. He likes the 2 tight end sets. He likes thinking outside the box. And Kyle Pitts isn't just a tight end, right? This man is a matchup nightmare. That's what he is. I mean, he's 6'4". Has the speed of a wide receiver, and he's got the build of a tight end. And he's just a matchup nightmare. If you put him against a linebacker who's too fast, he's going to overpower you. His ability to win on one-on-one matchups, and when you pair that with George Kittle, this offense would be scary. You get Deebo Samuel back. You get a good running game. This 49ers team is back in the playoffs, especially when they get their guys on the defense side of the football. So although, Kyle Pitts, doesn't really fill a need for them, he's just, a pick that would really help this offense out, really give them another dimension. I think it's a no-brainer for the 49ers, adding just more talent to this offense. Pitts is arguably one of the better offensive players in this draft class, and I think him falling to 12 is a great pick for this 49ers team. Now, though, let's look at the Chargers. And the Chargers, for me, it's all about protecting Justin Herbert. I don't think Samuel Cosmi is the third best offensive lineman in this draft class. I actually think it's Christian Darrisaw. Play him at left tackle. He's big. He's hulking. He can help protect Justin Herbert for the next few years to come. That's the number one priority. I don't really care who the Chargers take at offensive tackle. I just think Darrisaw is probably the third best guy in this draft class at that position. So why not get him, right? That's a need for you. Go get Christian Darrisaw. Now, let's go to the Minnesota Vikings, and this is a team that definitely needs a lot of help, and most of it's on the defensive side of the football. They don't really need an edge rusher, so Kwity Paye I don't think really is a good option for them. Jeremiah Owusu-Kumoa, I don't think they really need a linebacker either. I mean, their linebacker core is pretty solid. So I think Elijah Vera Tucker might be a really good option for them. Definitely the interior of their offensive line is something that really needs help, and especially with the Minnesota Vikings, which are one of the most run-heavy teams in the NFL. Get another guy to help Dalvin Cook in that running game, right? I think Elijah Vera Tucker, one of the better interior offensive linemen in this draft class. I think he can also play outside tackle, offensive tackle too. So, get a versatile offensive lineman who can really just plug and play in there. And I mean, this guy was solid in his collegiate career. I think he'd be a good addition to this Vikings team. As I said, the Vikings team, most of the things that they need are on the defense side of the football, but I just don't think this is a great defensive draft. I mean, another option that I guess that they could go after is J.C. Horn. At the cornerback position, that's definitely another position that the Vikings need help with. But I think the running game is something that they really need to address this offseason. So why not go out and give them Elijah Vera Tucker? Let's go to the New England Patriots. And now that they're at pick 15, look who's on the board. Trey Lance. They need a quarterback. Cam Newton wasn't the answer. So let's go out and give them Trey Lance. I mean, Trey Lance is a guy who reminds me of a Josh Allen-like prospect coming out of college. Super mobile, super athletic, really big arm. But he didn't play a lot of college football, so that's why he's going to fall a little bit. I could see him end up being the best quarterback out of this draft class in 10 years because of his just elite athleticism and mobility and arm strength and arm talent. He's a little raw, but nonetheless, I think for the Patriots, they need a quarterback at pick 15. Trey Lance could end up being the best guy out of this draft class, and I just think that would be a home run steal for them because I just love his his athleticism, love his mobility, love his game sense, and I just love his ability to make plays. And I think that's a huge thing for the New England Patriots. You get the guy, and maybe you get a veteran to start in front of him for 1 or 2 years to let him, develop a little bit. But nonetheless, I think Trey Lance at number 15 for the New England Patriots is an absolute steal. I think that'd be a really good pick for the Patriots. Now, though, let's go to pick number 16, and it's for the Arizona Cardinals here. I think the number one priority for them is a corner this offseason. Patrick Peterson is going to be a free agent. I don't know if they re-sign him, and after him, they don't really have a lot of corner depth, so J.C. Horn is a great option. South Carolina corner. I think he'd be a good player for this Cardinals team. Physical, really good, athletic. I mean, he's the third best corner in this draft. Definitely he's behind Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley, but this guy's athletic and physical and really good in one-on-one situations. So I think Horn is just, he's a solid pick. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. The next guy we're going to look at here for pick number 17, it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. And for me, there's really two options here. Obviously, edge defender is a massive need for them, and there is really a guy like Gregory Rousseau who really intrigues me. There's also a guy like Kwity Paye, who's also interesting. And, of course, the linebacker is a big need, too. So the linebacker out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I need to work on that. Komora is another option, too. But, nonetheless, I think the number one need for this Raiders team is edge defenders, right? They need a guy that can go out and rush the quarterback, and Mike Mayock and John Gruden are not afraid to reach a little. And I don't even know if a guy like Gregory Rousseau is a reach, just because he played one real year of college football, and he had 15-something sacks, and he was definitely a little bit raw, but I mean, this guy's talent, right? Mike Mayock has reached for guys that he's liked in the past. He reached for Clelin Ferrell. He reached for Damon Arnett. And although those guys didn't work out, Gregory Rousseau, I mean, was fantastic. The only reason he isn't really going any higher in these mock drafts is because, because he only played 1 year of college football, and that's kind of keeping him down there. He's raw. He definitely needs to learn a bit. But I think with the Raiders' defense, they need a guy that can get to the quarterback, and Rousseau did that in his college career. It's that simple. So I think Rousseau is a good pick for this Raiders team. Now, though, let's go to the next pick. It's going to be pick number 18, Miami Dolphins on the clock. And wow, imagine if this worked out for the Miami Dolphins. Najee Harris falling to 18. You get your wide receiver. You get your running back. Alabama trio, Tua, Devonta Smith, Najee Harris, and you fix the offense. I think it's that simple. Najee Harris, really good running back. I think he's better than ETN. Harris has got good speed, doesn't have that elite speed like ETN has, but he's much more physical, much more powerful, good out of the backfield. He's the complete running back. I mean, although he doesn't quite have that breakaway speed, still really physical, really good, really dynamic, and I just like what he would bring to this Dolphins offense. Now that let's try and hurry this video up. I know I don't want this to be like 40 minutes long. Washington football team, they obviously need a quarterback. There is Mac Jones left on the board. There is Kyle Trask. I don't think that they go quarterback here. I don't think Mac Jones is their guy. I think that they wait another year. They continue to add to this offense, right? They continue to add pieces. And I think that they go after a wide receiver. Because after Terry McLaurin, they don't really have a wide receiver. But I think that they might go after a wide receiver in free agency. So maybe they don't go with a wide receiver in the draft. And this is just an interesting situation, right? I mean, you don't go wide receiver in the draft because you got a wide receiver in free agency. Maybe you go out and get a corner, but I like their secondary. I don't think you really change the defense all that much, but maybe you go out and get an offensive tackle. Although this offensive line was one of the better offensive lines this offseason, during just this season in general. I think that they can always add to the offensive line, either at the tackle position or the interior offensive line position. Although Samuel Cosmi, I think, is probably better than the guy I want the Washington football team to take here. I think because of a guy like Alex Leatherwood's ability to play interior offensive lineman and offensive tackle. Although, I mean, Leatherwood, that's the thing for me. The Washington football team has a good offensive line. I think that they can get better, though, and I think that's their one, semi-need. So Leatherwood, who's a guy who struggled a little bit in pass protection, who was definitely a first-round pick caliber player, his ability to play interior offensive lineman because he's a really good run blocker and he has that right size to do so. He's got that good athleticism. But putting him out on an island at left tackle is a little bit dangerous. They do have, I believe, Morgan Moses playing left tackle. Don't quote me on that. But nonetheless, I think adding another offensive lineman to a already good offensive line is good, and then maybe going after getting a wide receiver in the free agency area And I mean, maybe they go Mac Jones here, but I don't think Washington would go out and get Mac Jones. I think that they'll probably try and get a quarterback in free agency during the quarterback carousel, or maybe just during next year's draft or something. Maybe they'll have Alex Smith for another year. We'll see. I just don't think that they need to go out and get a quarterback, because I don't think Mac Jones at 19 is really a great pick. Although Mac Jones is probably going to go pretty soon in this draft after. Now though, let's give him Alex Leatherwood's a little bit of a reach, but I think I like it there. Now, though, let's go to the Chicago Bears. Once again, Chicago Bears on the clock. They're at pick 20, and although they definitely need a quarterback, they definitely would like a guy like Mac Jones. I think that this is another team that, I mean, I don't know, like maybe they go quarterback, but I just think that they really need offensive line help. So for me, it's either between Mac Jones or a guy like Samuel Cosmi. This is interesting. I think that they definitely need offensive line help because if Mac Jones doesn't have any help on the offensive line, they're going to be done. So I think I'm going to go lean with Samuel Cosmi here. I think that they need an offensive line help. Maybe they'll try and get a quarterback with the quarterback carousel. All these quarterbacks that are going to be available. Obviously, Carson Wentz might be going to Chicago. It's definitely something that I wouldn't rule out. So with that said, like, I mean, I think Samuel Cosmi would be a really good pick for them at offensive line, especially if they go out and get a quarterback in free agency or during the offseason, not via the draft. Now though, let's look at the Indianapolis Colts, and for me, this is where they go quarterback. They definitely go out and look for a quarterback because they got the offensive line, although they don't have Anthony Costanzo playing left tackle anymore. He obviously retired. That's pretty big news, pretty big for them. I still think that you go out and get Mac Jones. I mean, you've got the offensive line around him. You've got Quentin Nelson, you've got Braden Smith, Mark Lewinsky, Ryan Kelly, one of the better offensive lines in the NFL. Then you get your quarterback. I don't think a guy like Jacoby Brissett's really going to lead you anywhere. If you don't trade for Darnold or Wentz, I think Mac Jones is a good option. One of the most accurate quarterbacks in all of college football. He's not super accurate outside the pocket. He doesn't really use his legs that much, but nonetheless, he's super accurate, really good pocket passer. I think Mac Jones would be really good for this Colts team, complementing what that defense really offers. Now though, let's look at the Tennessee Titans, and if this worked for the Titans here, getting Kwity Paye at 22, wow, that would be fantastic. Kwity Paye is probably the second best edge rusher in this draft, although he wasn't really productive getting to the quarterback. I think the most sacks he had in 1 year was 6.5, which is not a huge amount of sacks for a first-round talent, but nonetheless, a guy like Kwity Paye has all the athletic traits where he's going to have to break out. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the quickness, he's got the length, athleticism, so I think, and also he can rush from inside, he can rush from outside, so I think that he'd be a good fit for this Tennessee Titans team that really needs help on the defensive line, and Kwity Paye would be a perfect fit for that. Now though, let's look at the Jets here at pick number 23. Definitely the need of a running back. I do want to give them Travis Etienne here, but I think I'm going to stay away from that. And I think I'm going to give them Joseph Ossai, okay? Joseph Ossai, big-time edge rusher, right? Big time. This guy out of Texas is an absolute monster. I was watching some of his highlights yesterday, and this guy's long, he's physical, he attacks the quarterback with a lot of speed, and although the Jets do have some good guys on the defensive line, I think adding another great pass rusher would really help out that defense, although the offense is something that's really going to need to be looked at. There are a lot of good receivers in this year's free agency, so I think that they could probably go out and get a top receiver during free agency, then help that defensive line and pass sacking, and that sack and the sack production on the defensive line. So go out and get Joseph Ossai. He's dangerous. I think he's going to be a really dangerous player for the New York Jets. Now though, let's look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who definitely need some offensive line help. So I think that, who's the best offensive line available right now? Jalen Mayfield, Tavane Jenkins, or Liam Eichenberg. Probably I'd go with Jalen Mayfield. I think he can play either interior offensive line or offensive tackle. So getting a guy that can play multiple positions is definitely going to help. Although I probably think Eichenberg is probably the best left tackle available, I want to say. I think Jalen Mayfield would still be a really solid pick for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I think he'd be really solid. I mean, I think it's that simple. I think he'd get the job done either off tackle or interior offensive line, wherever they would need him. I think Mayfield would be a good pick to protect Big Ben or whoever's playing quarterback for the Steelers next season. Now, though, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick number 25. And for me, you've got your quarterback of the future in Trevor Lawrence. Now you need to protect him, and there's no better guy to do that with an offensive tackle. So let's look at the offensive tackle still on the board. Tavane Jenkins, Liam Eichenberg are the two guys, and I think Cam Robinson, depends what happens with him, but I think that they need more offensive line help because they've got some receivers there, DJ Chark, they've got D.D. Westbrook, they've got Laviska Shenault, they've got a good running back in James Robinson. They need some offensive line help. So I think going after a guy like Eichenberg out of Notre Dame, or even a guy like Jenkins too out of Oklahoma State, both of them are good, solid tackles that they couldn't go wrong with. Personally, I think I prefer Eichenberg a little bit more, so for that reason, I'm going to go out out and give him to the Jags. I just like his ability at the tackle position. So I think Eichenberg or Jenkins would be a good pick for the Jags, helping solidify that O-line, helping protect a guy like Trevor Lawrence. So let's go and get Eichenberg for the Jags here. Now, though, let's go to the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns are a team that are definitely in need of some playmakers on defense. On offense, they had one of the better offenses. Receivers, especially, OBJ, depending on what he does this offseason, if he comes back or if he, leaves the team, there's been some talk about that, but the offense is pretty good. It's really the inside of the football, and I think the linebacker position is a position that really could be improved, and why not go out and get the second best linebacker in this draft class, in Jeremiah Owusu-Komora. I really need to learn how to pronounce his name, but nonetheless, I think he's a good linebacker. He's good in pass protection. He's really good at getting to the football. He's got good speed, and I think he'd be a good part of that defense there in Cleveland. Sorry, not in Cincinnati. Now, though, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens. Now it's loading. Beautiful. Okay, so the Ravens, I'm going to keep this quick and simple here. They need a wide receiver. I'm sorry, Hollywood Brown cannot be your number one receiver if you want Lamar Jackson to be successful throwing the football. So let's go out and get Rashad Bateman. I did want to give them a guy like Kadarius Toney. I think Kadarius Toney is actually better than Bateman. But Bateman is a guy who's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit more physical. Tony's more of a speed threat. He's like a low down version of Hollywood Brown. So let's give them a guy that they can throw the ball to, and Rashad Bateman, who's can go up and make plays for this Baltimore Ravens offense. And I think that'd be a huge thing for this Ravens team. They really need a receiver this offseason. And even if they get one in free agency, I think adding another one in the draft would also be smart to continue adding to that receiving core. Now, though, let's go to the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, there we go. It's taking a little bit second. With New Orleans Saints, cornerback is definitely a need. Maybe getting another receiver is definitely an option. I do kind of want to give them Terrence Marshall Jr. I think that could be interesting. But I want to actually give them a linebacker here. The linebacking core is something that they could definitely improve in. And for me, there's two guys to look at, Zaven Collins and Nick Bolton. Collins is much bigger, a little bit more physical. And he's just an athletic freak, where Bolton is a little bit more polished. He's quick, agile, gets to the running back, and I think that's what would fit the Saints' need at linebacker. They need another linebacker to pair next to Demario Davis and the other guys they have on that defense to just be stingy and annoying. And although Zaven Collins is very good at Tulsa, he's an absolute freak at linebacker position. I think Bolton would probably fit the Saints a little bit better. So let's go take Nick Bolton for the New Orleans Saints. Now, though, let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. Let's just let it load for a second. Here we go. Beautiful. The Packers, they need a receiver. It's really that simple. I think that, after Aaron Rodgers needs some more weapons. It's Devontae Adams, it's MVS, it's Alan Lazard, Equinemius St. Brown, but go get them a speed guy that can open up the field in Kadarius Toney. This is something that I'm going to be mocking a lot. I love Toney to the Packers. I think that's a great fit because he's able to just open up an offense, and he was so good and dynamic at Florida. He uses his speed well. He's good hands. He's able to really burn defenders, so I think he'd be a really good fit in Green Bay. Now, though, let's go to the Buffalo Bills at pick number 30, and I don't think this could work out any better for the Buffalo Bills. If we just think about it for a second, they need a running back. Zach Moss and Devin Singletary were not good last year whatsoever, so go get them Travis Etienne, who's a complete running back. Really good. He's fast. He's breakaway speed, elite breakaway speed. He's good out of the backfield. He's a complete dynamic three-down running back, and he would be a great another weapon for that Bills offense that would really take them over the edge and really let them battle with the Chiefs one-on-one, especially on offense. Now, though, let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. And with the Kansas City Chiefs, they need offensive line help. I don't care if it's interior or at the offensive tackle position. At the offensive tackle position, they're probably less needy of a real player there. But nonetheless, I think Taveen Jenkins, I need to pronounce his name better. I need to really learn these guys' names. Jenkins out of Oklahoma State would probably be a good option. You could either put him at tackle, you can put him at guard, and you just get another guy in that offensive line that can actually help. That was the problem with the Chiefs this offseason, or this past season. Their defense was good, their offense was good, but their offensive line really let them down, especially in the Super Bowl. So I think Jenkins would be a good pick here at 31 for the Chiefs. Now, let's go to the Buccaneers. And when I was thinking about these mock drafts a little bit, I was thinking about the Buccaneers quite a bit because they don't really have any holes on their roster. They don't really need another linebacker. They've got really good linebackers. Maybe if Zaven Collins drops them and Levante David ends up not re-signing. I think Levante David will re-sign, though, with the team. But nonetheless, I think that maybe adding another interior defensive lineman that could really be a playmaker would be a really good idea. Obviously, they've got Sue. Obviously, they've got Golston. I don't know if those guys are free agents or not. not. Don't quote me on that or anything, but I think getting a guy like Christian Barmore to add another playmaking presence to the interior of the defensive line, a guy who can, stop the run, just be really physical presence at the interior defensive line position would be a good move for the Bucs. However, if Levante David ends up leaving the Bucs, which I don't think will happen, I think Zaven Collins would probably be the pick here. Getting another linebacker for them. I mean, Zaven Collins is good at... You know what, we're going to go with Barmore here. I'm not going to talk myself out of it. So with that said, let's go get Christian Barmore for the Bucs, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Let's just look at the entire draft for a second. It's just finalizing your draft. One moment. But before we just finish this video, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Now let's look at here. So obviously I had Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags, Zach Wilson going to the Jets, Devonta Smith Dolphins, Patrick Surtain to the Falcons, Penei Sewell to the Bengals, Caleb Farley to the Eagles, Jamar Chase to the Lions, Justin Fields to the Panthers, Parsons to the Broncos, Slater to the Cowboys, Waddle to the Giants, Kyle Pitts to the 49ers, Christian Darrisaw to the Chargers, Elijah Vera Tucker to the Vikings, Lance to the Patriots, Horn to the Cardinals. That's a move that I really like a lot. Gregory Rousseau to the Raiders, Najee Harris to the Dolphins, Alex Leatherwood to the Washington football team, Samuel Cosme to the Bears, Mac Jones to the Colts, Kwity Paye to the Titans, Osai to the Jets, Mayfield to the Steelers, Liam Eichenberg to the Jags, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to the Browns, Rashad Bateman to the Ravens, Nick Bolton to the Saints, Kadarius Toney to the Packers, Travis Etienne to the Bills, Taveen Jenkins to the Chiefs, and then Christian Barmore to the Bucs to round it out. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, see ya.